Hey guys, how's it going? CoreData here. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to play some more cards, and we're taking a look at a very interesting deck this week, and that is Britain Italy Control. So, this is the list. This is Britain Italy Control, and this is a very, very weird deck. Now, I will preface this video by saying this deck is not optimized. It is not, it's not refined, or at least all that refined. There's a ton of things you can do with this deck. There's a bunch of changes you could potentially make, a bunch of cards you could be playing instead of what I am currently playing. However, this is the build I've been having the most success with and by far the most fun with, so I highly recommend sticking around because this deck is very, very silly. You'll be seeing a number of games go very in directions you wouldn't normally expect. But like I said, this is a Britain Italy control deck, and we're built around a handful of the recently buffed cards out of Naval Warfare, as well as a few pieces that came in Air Supremacy. The first of which is Chain Home. This is a card from Naval Warfare and one of the buff cards I mentioned before. This went from 3k to 2k, and this is a very, very neat piece of interaction for the deck. Basically, this is a very weird sort of Claim the Skies-esque effect. We're looking to land this on one of our giant health units, things like 70th Brigade, things like Slashers, and most importantly, 7th Alpini Regiment, to basically cause massive board swings. Playing like 70th on 4 and then turn 5 Chain Home to remove your opponent's thing, it leaves you usually with like an 8-5 on board that your opponent then has to answer, otherwise you're healing and drawing cards from it. Playing it on Slashers gives you a game-ending threat if you get into the front line, seeing Slashers does in fact have Fury, and Alpini just causes massive health swings alongside another card that was buffed that we're going to talk about in a second. That card, of course, is HMS Formidable. This went from 5k to 4k. This is now much easier to even to turns. Like I said, it doesn't really affect how it's played alongside things like 70th Brigade, but it does affect how it's played like later on in the game. It means the big Alpini swing turns will go from being turn 11 to turn 10, and the Chain Home turns will go from being turn 9 to turn 8. And that is a big difference when it comes to like aggro matches. We're frequently able to slow the game down enough in the early game to be able to get the big swing turns off, and we have other tools that help us get there as well, namely things like Gordon Highlanders, for example. Yeah, Formidable is just a really fun card. One of my favorite cards in the Elder Scrolls Legends was Unstoppable Rage. Formidable is as close as we are getting to Unstoppable Rage in cards, so I'm going to enjoy my time with this card pretty much. As for the rest of the deck, we are essentially playing a bunch of control and value tools. Some of those things out of Naval or out of Air Supremacy that we're playing are the 3 copies of Airstrips. This is a very strange card. This is in here primarily as a means of generating value for the deck. I had tested out a little bit with Beta Som, and Beta Som is just incredibly inconsistent, and I found that just the guaranteed cards of Airstrips, being the Breda and the Roma, are more than enough to help carry you through certain matchups. The Breda is actually very, very solid into a number of the aggro matchups in the current metagame, as well as the Roma being a very, very good piece of both removal and burn in late game versus control decks. A number of games come down to the amount of burn damage produced by airstrips, so it matters a lot in control mirror matches. You could play something, like I said, Beta Som is an option, but Beta Som, you have the risk of just rolling garbage, things like IGN Makoras. You could roll things like Shinano, which don't do anything in control mirrors. So airstrips is just a little bit more guaranteed. You could also be running things like Baker Street Irregulars. I'm just not a fan of Baker Street Irregulars in general. I have played against that card far too many times, and it has the potential to high roll to oblivion, but also has the potential to low roll you out of the game. So again, Airstrips is very consistent. Like I said, the burn damage from Roma is really, really relevant, as well as being like a clean answer to things like Seahawk. So yeah, Airstrips is surprisingly very playable, as it turns out. And the other card from Air Supremacy that we're playing is, of course, the Whirlwind. This is like fine. This is essentially a game-ending body. The effect normally doesn't come into play because yeah, Whirlwind is just a weird card. We're playing it because it's 1, a new card, and 2, it is a big beefy body to help us close out games. Other than that, nothing really special. So that's pretty much the deck. Like I said, we're basically looking to land Chain Home and Formidable on some of our large health units, basically cause giant board swings and win off the back of that. I did mention that you could be playing a bunch of different cards in this deck. I have tested various versions of this deck, as I mentioned, with like things like Beta Som and the Baker Street Regulars. You could run cards like Sunderland, for example. This is another high health unit that also guarantees draws you a Formidable in this list. as well as having synergy with things such as airstrips, letting you draw the Roma from the top of the deck once it's played. However, it's a little bit slow, and we're normally pretty full. Our hand is normally pretty full, so drawing the extra card every single turn off Sunderland is usually not great. However, is worth potentially testing out. You could also be running things like Blackwatch as a win condition as further disruption. However, there's not that many order heavy decks in the metagame currently, and it's just a little bit worse than things like Slashers. Slashers makes very awkward boards for aggro to deal with. It being a 2/7 with Fury and Guard, same things as Blackwatch. It just doesn't interrupt orders as badly. But Slashers is a much more difficult body to deal with, as it turns out. So yeah. Blackwatch is a card you could consider, but I haven't felt the need to run it. Slashers, for the most part, has been a bit better. Black Prince was also a card that was in here originally for testing. I took it out. Not great. It was like mediocre in control matchups. But yeah, that's about the size of it. Like I said, there's a ton of different ways you could build this deck, a ton of different cards you could be running, but this is kind of what I've landed on so far. Again, there is refining to do, and it's not the most optimal list. For example, you could probably be running the second Matchy over all 3 copies of Alpini. A 2-2 split is likely correct. However, I've been favoring the massive swing turns of the Alpini, so I'm playing all 3 of them to maximize the opportunity of drawing them for the Hellcane. But yeah, aside from that, nothing else to say. The deck is a ton of fun. Highly recommend testing it out, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and on some games. Up against Germany. Oh, I need to be on this side. Whoops. Against Germany, I keep the Spitfire just because good pressure. Find some card draw. Find some removal. Likely just going to be Jur US, I would imagine. Second convoy off the top. We're just probably going to draw next turn. They're just going to play War Machine here. 100% at a time. Blitz Doctrine. We find airstrips off the top. Drop a couple cards. Next turn we're just going to drop Spitfire. Stug. Get Spitfire down. Yeah, I'm not above swinging one instead of Stokes swinging one face and just cracking the airstrips. Like, the only clean answer for this turn is, like, Firebomb if it's Germany-US. MI5. Okay, it's Handlock. Yeah, the Romas are going to matter for burn damage. There goes the fortification off the top for the opponent. Henschel. That gets answered very cleanly by the Breda. .108 Panzer Grenadier, that's fine. I can daggers that if I want. Could also just go for slashers here. I could also just Avray, force a mill. It gives them back the 108, but like, I'm not really going to be playing that many 4-drops from here on out. I'll mill and I'll force the pressure with the 5-7. They mill over a number 9. Because I'm also more than happy to go like formidable, deal 7 to something, get in for 7. That puts them in range of RM Roma plus Wellington next turn. Comet. Yeah, I think it's just formidable. Get in for 7. It's now literally Roma is lethal. As they mill the second Blitz Doctrine. They have to like Alpenfestung here if they have it. 108 just for a body. And they scoop it up. Okay. We top deck more burn anyway. Up against Soviets. Most likely going to be like Soviet Italy control, which is going to be a very long, annoying matchup. I think we keep Highlanders. Highlanders is just a big, annoying body to deal with. Also potentially like threatens deal 10 to the HQ if they don't answer it. Royal Marine is good for things such as mobile defense, and airstrips I think is just like fine value, so we'll just keep that. Do I airstrips now or do I airstrips later? I'll hold for now. I think we airstrips on turn 3. It's a very good Royal Marine. Yeah, this is why I kind of wanted to hold airstrips for 3, because I can operate the Marine, or if the Marine dies this turn, I get to play the Marine and airstrips. Opponent plays heroes, that's fine. Push the Marine, go for airstrips, find daggers. '97th rifles. Guards mechanized. I am probably just going to Breda again. Yeah, just Breda, clear this. Deny the card draw. Drop the SU. Rush hits the the 2-3. Yeah, we just Breda this. Royal Marine, the 97th rifles. Next turn, we probably just dump a Whirlwind into play. That is a-okay. Ooh, Alpini. Could just Gordon Highlanders as well. I also have like dagger strikes, but I want to hold the daggers for the big T-34. I think Highlanders is probably like the better play here. I think I go Highlanders and stack the convoy. Just so I can cycle some cards next turn. Because, like, if I can find a formidable off the top next turn. Pontoon Bridge. So we finally see the ally. Go for card draw. Monty and another Marine. Let's see. Like, I could just Roma trade, push the Highlanders forward, but I also have the option of going for daggers, Marine, and then pushing the Highlander forward, and then they need a blitz threat to essentially deal with it. But then if they dump the big T-34, I'm just kind of sad, because I don't have an immediate answer for it. A little bit awkward, but I think this is better. That is also fine. Because I can just Royal Marine that. Yeah, just a couple of awkward turns there in the mid-game. Mobile defense. That is like a pretty good Monty. No. Find Sexton. Fifth. Buy the sword, draws 3. Hold down. And sickle. Wellington. We'll get in for all the damage here. And then I'm just gonna dagger strikes the healing. Because I just have lethal Wellington next turn. Yep. T-34. Am I dead here? I'm not. Just rush. Oh, that's very annoying. That's very annoying. That rush might have just saved them. That rush might have just won them the game. Second hull down. Into the big T-34. And pontoon bridge, yeah. Let me think, because I'm pretty sure the damage for this, like, still heals them. We'll try it. I'm not sure how this stacks. I'm assuming this this doesn't work. It does! Yes! The damage registers first. Science! Up against Germany. This is really annoying. Keep research, pitch everything else. Airstrip's like decent. Sorry, my cat's making making all kinds of noise in the background. Yeah, we'll just pass here. War Machine. Go airstrips here so I can potentially play a Breda next turn, just to get pressure. Research. Let's get the Breda down. War bonds for the opponent. Go for expanded. Synthetic rubber is going to be like really important in this game for the most part. Seahawk. Into Wolfpack, ditching my slashers. Can go for... I can go Highlanders and stack the research here. Or I could just stack... no, I'll just stack the research. It's fine. Just getting a free synth rubber whenever I think makes a lot of sense. I go for synthetic oil. I will chain home, I think, here. Push us forward. Play the Breda. I don't overcommit. We'll see what they have here. Probably capitulation plus, like, some board building. Snap picks off the Panzer, probably capitulation. Firebomb. Panzer Grenadier. Panzer. Combined arms. Yeah. Plus Blitz Doctrine. Sure. 7. We have 10 damage in hand here. I can also just Monty. I can Monty this and play Whirlwind. How much damage? Wait, hang on. Because this goes up to 7. 7, 10. I have 14. I'm like 1 short. That's very annoying. I think... I think it's worth it because... Yeah, I'm just going to do it this way. Go Synth Rubber. Get in for 7, play the Whirlwind. Because like it has to be Alpenfesting if they want to live. I mean they also have capitulation potentially. But like this doesn't answer the Whirlwind. And they know I have a Roma in hand. From the airstrips. Contest Doctrine, yeah, that's it. Yeah, they scoop. Whirlwind is a little bit too much pressure. Again, likely going to be Soviet Italy. I'll keep the card draw, and I'll... If it's like something aggressive, I will probably want to attack at the colonies just to remove a comb on 4. Yeah, just a really awkward keep. But if it's controlled, the card is going to be necessary. Yeah, it looks to be control. PCSU, sure. I can just go for... I can just go for radar here. No. No, we'll go taller. We'll go for rubber again, most likely. Yeah, get in for 5. We'll go for Spitfire. Present a threat. They'll still just take their 5 here, I'd imagine. There's no reason not to. Novgorod. Surveil. Turns a sickle into a Spitfire. We find a Machi off the top. This is where the 2-op kind of sucks. Will Sexton knock down the SU for the turn? Hammer. Second SU. You can take a trade. '70th is like solid, but we definitely mill a card. I don't see a world in which they don't like attack face here with the SU. Interesting. Okay. They get the Spitfire down. Second airstrips for me. Go for slashers here. Just chain home. Do I chain home? Do I chain home or do I just go for like airstrips? I probably just... No, it's airstrips. Because if I chain home and I hit like the SU or the Spitfire, they just get to freely trade into the slashers without activating it. Honorifics. So we do heal, we mill a card. Daggers is... it sucks to lose it, but it's fine. Yeah, I mean, I can just roam at this. I can... Yeah, I think we just do this, right? I don't think we've seen the ally yet. It's got to be Germany, though, right? If they're doing convert stuff. Pol gets it for 3. Armor train. Attacking the colonies and Alpini regiment. I mean, we're one turn off Alpini plus Alpini plus formidable. I will go for synthetic rubber because I can do a big swing with Alpini, rubber, and formidable on 10. So we'll grab the synth rubber here. I can chain home, potentially take out one of these. I take less damage this turn. I don't mill a card, but I can also just go for airstrips. So I just mill. I mill a Roma. I mean, if they don't take the trade with the 70th, I just gain 2 health, which I'm happy enough with. Carpathians. Oh, it's Poland ally. Okay. Okay, we get to do the big... we get to do a really big health swing here. So we go Alpini. We go synth rubber. We go formidable. What? Doesn't hit any of the backline stuff. Doesn't hit the Novgorod. Doesn't hit the armor train, which is very unfortunate. That's what I was kind of hoping for. Iron Division for the opponent. Find the slashers. We start off with Breda here. We go slashers. We go chain. Oh, we go chain home. Hits the Iron Division. Guards mechanized. Iron Division. Naval engagement is solid. I think it's just a Breda though, right? Swing here. Attacking the colonies, Breda. Because we have the naval engagement to clean up the back line. I'm not worried about the light infantry in the front line. I've got 61 health. I don't think it's... I don't think it matters that much. And we have... Like, we have the threat density that we can just kind of... Okay, sure. Turns hammer to Novgorod. Plays a second Novgorod. Yeah, I mean, I think we just swing here. Do I swing there? I do swing here. I have to protect this. I mean, I could naval engagement this if I wanted right now. Or I can draw. Use a Royal Marine to clear off this. My problem right now is I just... If they have like a convert off the top, they draw 2 cards. Oh no, they don't draw. They just make a bunch of dudes. But if they make a bunch of dudes, they're in my face. No, I'm just gonna draw. Yeah, this is really risky what I'm doing here. Okay, well, unfortunately their top deck was like insane. That's a little bit of a goof, actually. With the Royal Marines. I should have done Royal Marine, and then stacked the naval engagement. Because now the engagement is like 2 cards deep if I go for the double clear on this. I could also just play the Royal Marines and pop these, but then they just trade into one of the Royal Marines to fade my top deck. Sickle clears my Breda, that's fine. Denuda, that's also fine. Okay, so naval engagement off the top here, which we knew was coming. Alright, now we just try and win the game with the Machi. Yeah, that's game over, because we have 2, yeah, we have 2 Marines coming here, so... Again, the top deck has to be, like, insane here. Barrage is good. We have lethals here though. It's just a case of we need to draw them. That's a good top deck from the opponent. Whirlwind. Now if they try to answer the Whirlwind, they die, so this is basically a pin. Wellington, that's lethal. We'll take it. Pretty close game, to be fair. Up against US. Let's see. We'll keep Wave. Rome is a good top deck. Royal Marines also great, just like Brewsters. Again, we hold airstrips until like turn 3-ish. Oh, Royal Marine is fantastic here. Yeah, this is most likely Brewsters. M10 is fine. We push the Marine forward, we go for airstrips. Calliope. Play 70th here. We have a Roma to clear up like a Seahawk if they have it. Yep. Roma answers Seahawk. We do have access to the wave after wave. Okay, so it is US-Italy. Drop the Alpini. They can't daggers it because they also have a 4-attack unit. Well, they have 2 units. To clear up to 70th. War bonds. Naval engagement. I mean, I'll probably just chain home, right? Go Wellington to clear this. Mustang and the Seahawk. 70th Brigade. Yeah, I mean 70th Brigade plus Formidable is just full clear. I could also just daggers this. Go 70th. Then I can just go for a naval engagement next turn. Flying Fortress. That is fine with me. That's a very solid naval engagement if they don't push. They do push, okay. I mean, still, fine naval engagement. We don't have to worry about any more Seahawks for the rest of the game. Both are down. Second Flying Fortress. Attacking the colonies plus wave is a clear. Rangers. Sextant locked us down. So they've got a counter-strike, 100%. Queen's Own. Find a Cromwell. Trying to think. I don't think there's any like mass removal in this US deck. Yeah, they're definitely holding up Counter-Strike. Has to be Counter-Strike. High altitude bombing. It's a bit annoying. Find the big matchy. Yeah, there's Counter-Strike. I can go Queen's Own. Doesn't really accomplish anything is the problem. Synthetic rubber. Yeah, we're just gonna go Alpini, synthetic rubber plus formidable. Convoy. Convoy doesn't change anything, I don't think. I mean, I can also just match you and go rubber on it, right? Queen's Own also works on the Rangers here. But I can't do anything else if I'm doing that. Monty is a fine top deck. We'll fade a draw step here. I want him to push everything to the front line so I can Monty. Oh, and they have research here as well. That's very annoying. They've had every single piece they've needed so far. Yeah, pressurized carbon. Again, we know there's the Rangers in hand. And we know about the Super Fortress. They're also going to have matches. Find another airstrips. We go for matchy here. Go synth rubber. Yeah, they can't fortress and attack with it. They need an answer to this matchy right now, otherwise they're just dead in hand. That doesn't do it, right? They're still dead to double Roma. Yeah. GG. Oh no! Wait, I miscounted. Fuck. That's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I mean, Breda surely kills them. Did I really miscount that? I did. Damn. My bad. There shouldn't be any healing here anyway. It should just be a case of drop the Braid and they lose. They know I have 3 in hand. They've seen they can see all 3 Bredas. Yeah. Oh, a little bit of miscalculation on my part, but it's fine. Works out. Anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Like I said, this deck is a ton of fun. It is super silly, massive health swings against a lot of board-based decks, and it is surprisingly good into a number of popular meta decks right now. Very good into control mirrors for some reason. This deck's worst matchup by far is Legions, but Legions is not that popular. German-US can be a little bit of a tricky matchup depending on the draws. However, this deck is slightly favored from my testing into Germany US just because we were able to produce very scary boards repeatedly, as well as having the burn damage to fall back on as a secondary game plan. But yeah, the deck is a ton of fun. Highly recommend testing it out. Chain Home and Formidable are very much worth experimenting with. So yeah, like I said, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.